What wrong decision keeps you up at night? Ignoring my wife's phone call when I was at a work meeting. She was already suffering with mental health issues when a few weeks prior to this, our 15-year-old daughter decided to sneak out of the house. It was the middle of the night, and she was picked up by her 21-year-old boyfriend, who we'd never heard of before. We were woken up the next morning at 6 a.m. by the police, informing us that our dear Christine was found at the bottom of the lake. My wife and I started spiraling instantly, and in hindsight I know it was wrong, but we began dealing with grief differently. I chose to throw myself into my work so much, I didn't even have time to think about my daughter. But my wife was a stay-at-home mother, so she didn't have that luxury. Her choice of coping became substances. She started doubling and even tripling her prescription medication. I remember coming home at 2 a.m. after a 16-hour shift, and seeing her holding our daughter's childhood teddy and just sobbing her eyes out. I should have dropped what I was doing, but I myself was on way too many sedatives to think clearly. And then came the day. I hadn't even told my managers at work what had happened, and I was in the middle of a work meeting when I got a call from my wife. Something in me told me to answer, but just as I reached for my phone, my manager called on me. "You seriously gonna take that? I'm sure your wife can wait." Against my better judgment, I listened to him. I walked out of the office an hour later, and when I looked at my phone again, I saw a voicemail. It was from my wife. I listened to it, and my heart instantly dropped to my stomach. I went pale and ran outside, got in my car, and started driving home at 120 miles per hour. I got home faster than I ever had. I was already sobbing as I ran into the house and began calling her name. I started kicking open every door just to save every precious millisecond, and I remember praying to God this wasn't it. But then I kicked open my daughter's bedroom door, and that's when I saw her. My wife was there, hanging by a rope, strung up on a metal hook attached to the dew frame. Words can't describe what it's like to walk in on the love of your life dead, and know that if you had done just one thing differently, you'd get to hold her again.